But now I smell the rain, and with it came, and it's heading my way. Sometimes I grow so tired, but I know I've got one thing I got to do. Run it off. Another time, sing my song.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another installment of the Rambling Men Sports Podcast. As always, it's Shane here. James, for the time being, cannot make it. He's going through some stuff, and he will be out indefinitely. But this is a fun show for me, because as you can see on my left is someone you haven't seen on the show, and that is one of my best friends from high school, Taylor Mason. A little bit of background. I've known you since probably about third grade. Right?
Yes, around then.
That's when I started to know you. Then we got to
Yeah.
be good friends in middle school, and then obviously very close in high school. We played football together, all sorts of stuff. We've bled together. We've cried together, all sorts of stuff. You name it. Taylor, what's going on?
Nothing much, just trying to graduate school. Almost done.
Yes, you are the big grad school man.
Yeah, it's terrible, and I don't recommend it.
So we're just gonna, since you didn't have much to say, even though I gave you a very nice intro, we're just gonna go ahead and get started. So we're gonna start off. It's not. Has to do with sports, but it's not something that was in the news recently, except in our group text. But Taylor and myself squared off in our fantasy hockey league championship. Which doesn't sound like a lot to you guys.
Which let me just start off with is bullshit, because the whole year I'm leading our league. I finished 15-6 with a 70% win average, while the next closest guy, Shane here, is like 50%. It's not even close. I looked it up. I beat you 3 out of the 4 times we played each other, and then you squeak one out by 4 points because McCock? What is his name?
You don't even know. You don't even know.
No,
McDavid?
Yeah,
Connor McDavid. Yes, he is my guy. He scored 70-some points, and that's why I won. But anyway, The background: Taylor knows absolutely nothing about hockey, and it's ironic that he led our league the entire year, and he rubbed it in our faces how I know nothing about hockey, and yet here I am winning it. And then sure enough, the championship comes around, and someone who knows a little bit about hockey, me, defeats him.
No, I think it's luck. If I own the whole season. But this is just the curse, because this is the 4th time in a row in one of our fantasy leagues.
I thought it was 3. Is it 3 or 4?
No, 3 in fantasy football, which is
it
absurd.
really? I thought it was just 2 in fantasy football.
No, it's 3. It was Jeff, then it was Steven, and then Mack.
Yeah, you're right. It is 3. I forgot about Jeff.
Yeah, so this is the 4th time I've come in second place in a fantasy league with you guys. I don't understand. I don't get it. It's really frustrating.
I love it. The group text was hilarious the night it was happening. I know you were listening. You didn't respond
because I knew what was going to happen. I was like, I'm not watching this unfold.
That's so funny, because the group text was fire, and I don't say that very often. I remember at one point I was down about 25 points, and I had 2 guys left, and they were playing each other. One guy was the goalie, one guy was the skater. So any goals, that helps me a little bit. That it also hurts me a little bit, because I have the goalie, and it count against for goals against on your goalie. So, and I remember I checked the score. I had cut it to 10, and then I kept checking. It was 8, then it was 7, 6, and then it kept going to 3. Then it got to overtime, and then sure enough, it came down to the Oilers-Ducks game, and the Ducks won in overtime, which meant 5 points for my goalie. That put it over the top, and I won. It was an insane matchup, very nail biter. I love your facial expression.
I think what hurt me was that the Nashville Predators had clinched the playoffs, And so in their doubleheader, they didn't have to start Pecorine.
I'm glad you pronounced his name right this time.
Yeah, to let y'all know how little I know about hockey, I thought it was P. Ryan the whole season until my friend Brandon let me know it was Pecorine.
How do you fuck that up? Do you just look at the P and then the period and then Rene and then think it was Ryan? You there?
Yeah, I'm there. Did we lose me?
No, I did a little bit. I just wonder how you fucked up his name, but I guess we can talk about that.
It's P. Ryan.
Now, did it say like the P and then period Rene, and you just thought it was P. Ryan? You thought his last name was Ryan.
I thought his last name was Ryan. No,
okay.
His first name wasn't P.
Right, obviously. But I'm trying to figure out if you thought his last name was P. Ryan, because I don't know how you screw that up.
No, I thought his last name was Ryan.
Okay. That makes more sense. So you knew his first name started with a P at least. And you just called him P.
I didn't know his actual name. I just called him P. Ryan.
Okay, I get it now. We talked about that for a little bit. It's hilarious. Like I said, the group text between us was hilarious. I remember William at one point posting the final minute of the U.S. and Soviet Union 1980 hockey game, and just the reaction. He said, "This is the equivalent to that."
I'm still upset. I hate coming in second. I'd rather just not have a chance. I mean, 4 times in a row. I'm still really mad about it.
And you don't even like hockey.
And it would have been different if I didn't dominate the regular season. I killed everybody. I beat you 3 out of the 4 times. It's fine.
No, it's not fine. No, dude, y'all scored 7,000 points against me the entire year. I was
consistently on my point total. I did not really fluctuate.
I started 2-8. I finished 12-9. So at least I was hot.
I started undefeated. I had a bad streak there for a while when a bunch of my players were hurt and I forgot to change my lineup.
No, we all forgot to change our lineup. I just think it's funny. You complain about how I was around 500, but you forget how I won 10 out of 11 to get to that point.
I beat you 3 out of the 4 times, though.
Right, that was earlier in the year. And one of those losses at the end, and I think one of those wins, we played each other twice, and it was 50-50, and excluding the championship. Anyway, you're clearly depressed. I'm the league champion. Let's move on. So we're going to start off with March Madness, and this is a hot topic between us because you love Loyola-Chicago's run, and I frankly hate it.
Well, how do you hate it? It's a mid-major dominating.
I don't like it when these mid-major schools make it this far in the tournament.
I love it because it's just a big middle finger to all of the other schools. These kids got turned down from, the Michigans, the Dukes, the Villanovas, and this is the big FU to those programs, and they're going on. I want them to win it all. I don't think they will. I think they lose. I think they beat Michigan, but lose to Villanova in the final.
I don't even think they beat Michigan. I
think they do.
I'm tired of Loyola. I'm tired of their storyline. I'm tired of all the mid-majors. I've said this before to you. I don't think they're good for the tournament. It's fun for the first weekend. It's fun to see these small schools win for the first weekend. But, okay, that's cool. You beat them, but you beat these big schools. But then after you get to the Sweet 16, for me, it's kind of okay, hold on. Know your place.
No, see, to me, that's why they should be in it. I mean, look, Auburn didn't make it past the second round. Alabama didn't make it past the second round. And you're saying that those teams deserve it more than Loyola-Chicago, who's now in the Final Four?
Deserve what?
Deserve to make it to the tournament. In your case, you don't think mid-majors should be in the tournament.
Not all of them. They shouldn't all have an automatic qualifier.
I think they should, just because it's hard to decide off of the BPI, off of who gets in and who doesn't. I think, to me, the biggest travesty was Oklahoma and Syracuse getting in. I don't care how far Syracuse made it; they didn't deserve to be in.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I forgot to put the AP All-American, but whatever. That's another. I can make that my rant. But so in other news for the March Madness, Kentucky, Gonzaga, Purdue all upset in the Sweet 16. Loyola-Chicago, Michigan, Villanova, Kansas all advanced to the Final Four. So you've already answered this, Taylor, but which team do you think will win the national championship?
I think Villanova. Kansas should have lost to Duke. I mean, that ball at the end bounced around that rim and almost went in like 3 separate times. They should have lost. They squeaked one out, and then one of their players, all 13 points in overtime? It's impressive, but to me, Villanova, their whole team scores. They're ruthless. They're aggressive. Alabama, we're not the best team, but we stick around. We keep it close, and they blew us out. At the end there, we blew out Auburn. We hung in there with Kentucky when they were shooting the best they've shot in ever. That one kid went 7 for 7 from the 3-point line, and Villanova made us look like we were a high school team out there. They're one of the best teams I've seen, and Kansas looks weak to me. So
yeah, I can speak from experience. Kansas I didn't pick them to make the Final Four just because they don't have a lot of depth and they lack size. But if they shoot well, they're a hard team to beat. I think I'm going to go with Villanova as well. As a WVU fan, we played them right after Alabama. We kept it a lot more close, but really got the shaft in the second half from the officiating. So we lost by 12, but should have been a lot closer than that. But yeah, I agree. This is probably one of the better teams I've seen. They don't have a ton of depth, don't have a ton of size like Kansas, but literally all of them can shoot threes.
They all can shoot. Yeah. And they play good defense. And when you shoot those threes like they do, it allows for a lot of offensive rebounding. And I don't see Kansas beating them. Now, I think if Kansas was on the other side, Kansas make it to the finals.
Yeah.
I think Kansas is better than Loyola-Chicago and Michigan.
If it's Villanova and Michigan, that's going to be a really entertaining game. Both teams can shoot the ball well. Both teams are hot.
I don't think Michigan gets past Loyola.
You're buying into the Cinderella story too much.
No, because I think they lose in the finals. I don't buy into Michigan that much. Now, that being said, I have Michigan in my bracket. I have Michigan and Villanova in the finals and Villanova winning. Now, the rest of my bracket, it's pretty terrible. But
God damn it. I'm so pissed. Just because my bracket's terrible, I'm so jealous.
Oh, that's my only good bracket. I changed brackets for different groups. And that's my only...
No, that don't count then. No, you get one bracket.
Because they don't use the same ESPN one. Now, my first one I made is this one, so that's the one I usually count as the first one. But when they do office pools, they don't all go through ESPN. I don't remember what I picked.
But yeah,
I have Villanova winning in almost all my brackets.
I think Villanova wins it all too. I think that's it for March Madness. Very entertaining tournament. I know you love the upsets, but sad that it is coming down to an end.
Well, I wish the upsets were a little more spread out, though. I didn't like it all being in Virginia's region, because then what I like is seeing the upset or the Cinderella story team beat the 1 seed, the 2 seed, the 3 seed, like earn their way. And I thought Loyola-Chicago did when they beat 6 Miami, 3 Tennessee. But and they played Kansas State. That's not. I wanted them to play number 1 Virginia.
I got a question for you. Did a 16 beat a 1 feel underwhelming to you?
No. To be honest though, I didn't watch the game.
No, I did. I just meant the aftermath. Like it kind of felt like this is it. We've been hearing about I've been picturing how it's going to be when a 16 seed finally beats a 1 seed.
I think it was because it got overshadowed. And had they beaten Kansas State, I think that's what we'd be hearing about. But they beat Virginia, who lost one of their best players before the tournament started, and then they looked like garbage against Kansas State. I watched that game. It was horrible.
Yeah.
I felt like I was watching two Alabama teams under Anthony Grant play each other. I mean, or rec league basketball where no one can shoot.
Rec league basketball.
Nothing went in. It was, and they weren't playing defense. I mean, they were, but it was sloppy basketball. It was atrocious. And I think at that point it took away because then you're like, oh, that's a fluke.
I remember that was on Sunday night, and I remember we came home from the farm, and we stopped at Five Guys to get some dinner. And when me and my dad left the car, it was like 47-43 Kansas State. And then we went in. We were in there for about 10 or 15 minutes. We came outside, and I think both teams had scored a basket, and that was it. In 10 to 15 minutes.
I think it'll be like Michigan and Appalachian State, where it's years from now, it's going to continue to be talked about. But how much can you talk about, like, woo, they beat them, and now on to other things?
I feel like somebody on our podcast said if it was like a buzzer beater, we'd be hearing about it more. But the fact it was a 20-point blowout, I mean, like we all kind of knew midway through the second half, I mean, that this was going to happen and it's over.
Yeah, and there's too many storylines to keep that.
Yeah, there were already a few upsets.
Next draft, they're going to talk about it. They're going to continue to talk about it, and it'll be like App State versus Michigan, where they never stop talking about it because it's an amazing upset. But you can only talk about you blew out a team by 20 points so much.
Yeah.
There's not like, ooh, they beat them by 20 points. There's nothing to look back at and go, well, this is the key difference. They blew them out.
Yeah. Moving on.
What else you can say about that?
Moving on. This is kind of an interesting headline. Louisville, University of Louisville men's basketball team hires Xavier's Chris Mack to be its new head coach. A 7-year deal worth about $4 million per year. Keep in mind that Louisville men's basketball program is now placed on a 4-year probation, which includes scholarship reductions, recruiting restrictions, a $5,000 fine, and a forfeiture of any money received through conference revenue sharing from 2012 to 2015 NCAA tournaments as a result of an investigation that included allegations that a former Louisville staff member arranged striptease dances and sexual acts for players and recruits during parties at an on-campus dorm from 2011 to 2015. Also keep in mind the possible sanctions from the FBI's investigation of like Adidas and Nike and Under Armour hasn't even come down yet. So Taylor, does this surprise you at all that they were able to hire Matt given all that?
I wouldn't have touched that program with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, that's very surprising to me.
You're at Xavier. That's a great school. Unless you think you're going to, Jimbo Fisher, where you think you're going to get fired and might as well move. But why move to Louisville? Do you know how many other top programs would take you? Or a mid-tier. Yeah. To me, the Louisville now is below the bottom of the barrel in the SEC.
ACC.
You can't get recruits.
ACC.
We're ACC. Well, no, I meant I'm going off of, ACC's good at basketball. Being the bottom of the barrel at the ACC doesn't mean much. Being bottom of the barrel at SEC means a lot. That's pretty terrible.
But they're not in the SEC.
I know, but that's what, to me, you might as well have just gone to
I think I know what you're saying.
Or an Ole Miss. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, you could at least have resources to get players. And more possibility of sanctions, they're going to get the death penalty.
I don't know if it'll go that far, but they're already in big trouble, and this scandal from the FBI is probably going to be even worse, and they're one of the schools that are one of the schools mentioned that are in the deepest circle of shit in it. But yeah, this is very surprising. I'm surprised that I'm not surprised he'd want to leave Xavier. Xavier is a small school, probably doesn't have a ton of money. And Louisville's in a Power 5 school. They clearly have the revenue to pay him. But it's just the fact that all these if these sanctions weren't around, yeah, I wouldn't be shocked at all he'd leave for Louisville. But why would he want to go to a school that's already under probation and more sanctions coming down the pipe? I just don't get it.
Now, I would understand if they didn't have sanctions right now. Like, if you're in speculation mode, then that's fine. You can still get players and you can win. But maybe I don't know how old he is, but maybe he wants a lower stress job because no one can blame you when you're on probation for losing.
And it's not that far. I mean, Xavier's in Cincinnati. Louisville's just right down the road. Not that far away, maybe.
Now, $4 million? I'd probably take it.
That is a lot of money for a basketball coach. I'm not sure.
That's a lot of money for a football coach.
But I remember a few years ago, Buzz Williams, who's now the head coach at Virginia Tech, who was at Marquette, left for Virginia Tech, which is obviously Marquette has become a pretty good basketball school the last 15, 20 years. And Virginia Tech has never really been rich with basketball history. And he left. And I couldn't I was like, why the heck would he leave Marquette? And money. They paid him a lot of money. So that's why he probably left for Xavier. It's just really shocking that he would leave when they're about to get hit hard with sanctions.
There's a lot of other schools that would pay you though. Who else did Arizona fire their guy?
Not yet.
Someone like one of those teams is getting fired.
Pitt just hired. I'm surprised Pitt didn't try to make a move. They're in the ACC. Obviously, they're terrible, but they don't have sanctions at least. UConn hired their guy. Those are the only two schools that I know of outside of Louisville that needed a coach.
There's one more that they're going to fire him, but maybe not.
I think maybe USC. They're in trouble too.
I think USC, yeah, they are in trouble. Well, the other thing too, you could be looking at it is all the top programs are in trouble. Yeah. But I wouldn't want to go to a place that's already in trouble because they're going to be meaner.
Now, maybe the NCAA. The NCAA is already notorious for it. Is giving these sanctions and then going back on it a couple of years later. Oh, that was too harsh. We'll make it just 2 years and you're free to go.
Yeah, but after your program's gone down the shitter.
Penn State's doing fine right now. Football.
Yeah, but they're in a weak conference.
That's another argument. Poll question, are you surprised they were able to hire him? We kind of already answered that. So let's move on. NFL. So the competition committee met this week, and some rule changes were adapted. Probably the biggest one, the owners unanimously approved a simplified catch rule. New rule will eliminate the requirement to maintain control of the ball throughout the process of going to the ground. Instead, it will define a catch with a simpler three-step process. A receiver must control the ball, establish himself in bounds, and perform a football move such as taking a third step or lunging with the ball in hand. The change means that plays such as those involving Detroit's Calvin Johnson in 2010 and Dallas's Dez Bryant in 2014 will be ruled catches in the future. Taylor, how do you feel about that?
Well, there's one part you left off where I've seen a lot of places, this may not be in the final rule, but where it also is the ability to perform such a move. That's gray area. I don't like gray area where an official can decide the outcome of a game. You know, what does that mean? The ability to
I just got that from an ESPN article. I didn't read anything like that. I don't know. Where'd you see that? NFL.com,
okay. One of their news articles.
I'll take NFL.com's word for it.
It says the ability to perform such a move. How do you judge someone's ability to perform such a move? They're either making the move or they're not making the move. That's where it's just. I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to make it to where it's the official's best judgment, but that's what they got in trouble with before. You either make the move or you don't make the move. If the guy knocks the ball out before you made the move, it's not a catch. It's just not.
How do you feel? How do you feel about them trying to simplify it, though?
Oh, I agree. I mean, if you're lunging towards the end zone, you catch it, you turn and lunge, and you caught the ball. You have possession, and you have clear control. The only difference is if you catch it and you're kind of bobbling it and reaching out, then that's not a catch to me. You're bobbling it, you don't have complete control. The one that reminds me of is in the Super Bowl, the Zach Ertz.
That was a touchdown.
That was a touchdown. But that's what I think of. He catches the ball, he turns. And
okay. I thought you meant that wasn't a touchdown. I was like, no.
No. That is a catch. Okay. He catches the ball, he turns, and he lunges. Yeah. That is a football move. He didn't take more than 2 steps, but you turning. No,
he did. He took 3.
Or he took 3. Okay, but if he caught it and turned and stuck out for a while, that wasn't a catch. Luckily the officials called it right. But yeah, I'm fine. I just don't like the gray area. I feel like they still have it. It's definitely better than what it was, though.
I really don't. I'd never had a problem with the way it was before. I thought that that fans really overcomplicated the rule. It wasn't that hard to figure out. All this had to do with was a receiver going to the ground. That's all. That's the only area where this rule came in. If he caught the ball and didn't go to the ground, 2 feet in, it's always a catch. Or what I'm talking about. But I just feel like this rule was oversimplified. And then in the Super Bowl, like the play we were just talking about with Zach Ertz, Chris Collinsworth, like, I don't even know I don't know the rules anymore. I'm like, guys, this isn't hard to figure out. You have to establish yourself as a runner. Yeah, can't go to you obviously can't go to the ground, but if you don't want this to happen, don't go to the ground to make the catch. I don't know. I just really oversimplified. I'm fine with them making it simpler, though. One, because it shuts people up, and two, I think it is better for the game.
I think the officials, for the most part, knew what it was. I think the problem was the fans didn't.
Yeah.
And you're putting a product out on the field, and the fans need to understand the rules you put in place, or you're going to have these problems where, the Patriots probably were crying wolf going, Zach Ertz, that's not a touchdown. Now, we all know it is a touchdown, but...
in no way could you look at that, other than the fact he lost the ball at the end. You could not look at that and say that's not a catch. He caught the ball, he turned, he took three steps, established himself as a runner, lunged for the goal line, crossed it. At that point, it don't matter what happens if he loses the ball. It's over. It's a touchdown.
Right, but then the Des Bryant's catch in 2014, that was a catch. And they didn't. You see what I'm saying? It's just if you're going to just iron it out. So when people go, oh, it's a catch, they don't like being blindsided on a not a catch or a catch, or you feel like you're making up rules.
I don't know. As a Packers fan, I'm kind of on the fence about it. The ball came loose at the end. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like you should maintain it all the way through.
It doesn't matter. The Cowboys would have lost in the next round anyways because they're the Cowboys. But
did you think that this was necessary, these rule changes?
It was to make fans happy. Yeah. I think the refs knew what a catch was, and the media was heightening the worry. In the Super Bowl, like you said, the comment, "Oh, I don't know what a catch is anymore." Like, you're lying. You know what a catch is, but no, I think it was a necessary rule change, and it makes it simpler. Like, we know what a catch is now. When we watch it and be our own, armchair referees, we're like, "Oh, it's a catch."
Yeah, when you put it that way, I was originally going to say no, but when you put it that way, I'm with you. Just to shut fans up and get everybody kind of on the same page, yeah, I think it was necessary.
In that sense, I think. No, sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I was just reiterating what we just said. So it was just.
So some of the other rules that were, I don't know what the correct word is. Some other rule changes. Let's just put it that way that were passed. 15. I know this is big to you, Taylor, because I know you're not a targeting guy. 15. And it doesn't say it's targeting. It says 15-yard penalty for lowering head to initiate, make contact with helmet. Hold on, I'm not done yet. It's now a foul. This is the description. It's now a foul when a player lowers his head to initiate and make contact with his helmet against an opponent. It will cost and could, as with the NCAA targeting rule, lead to an ejection, whether or not ejections will be mandatory, or if it will be based on severity of hit, or if they will be subject to replay. The hit will be is still to be determined. So this is a passionate area for you, Taylor. I'll let you talk.
So to me, yes, there are certain hits where you're trying to hurt the other person, and it's obvious, and I don't think that belongs in the game. Or if you're leading with the crown of your helmet, that will kill you. And one of our buddy's little brothers from Harvard, I'm not saying he did, but he broke his back. And that's the danger of the game, especially if you lead with the top of your helmet. That's why you don't do it, and I think that's an automatic ejection. But there's other ones where the receiver lowers his shoulder and you hit him in the side of the head. You played, it's bang, bang, it's quick. If it's incidental, I'm fine with 15 yards, but not an ejection. It could be like, I think we've talked about this, flagrant 1 and flagrant 2, like they handle it in basketball. Not an automatic ejection. I hate automatic ejections. It puts too much power in the ref's hand. And I think some players should be ejected for their hits they've taken, but not all of them. If it doesn't look like he's trying to ear hole him, give him a flagrant 1. He does it again, he's ejected. I'd even be fine with that flagrant 1 lasts you the whole season. You do it again, and then you're ejected. So, it doesn't have a time limit. I'd be fine with that, just not this automatic ejection crap.
Well, I don't even think college does automatic ejection. It does.
Yes.
It does if they upheld the targeting penalty. right?
Right, but I've
Yeah.
seen it several. You've been watching where you watch it, we're like, oh, that's iffy, and they
Yeah.
just ejected him for it. Now, there's other ones you're like, oh, yeah, he needs to be out of here. But the iffy ones, get 15-yard penalty, he gets a yellow card, basically. And you do it again, you're ejected.
Yeah, I've kind of been not on the fence. I'm fine with the targeting rule. I've said this. I believe I've said this to you. I think there is a place for it. We don't want illegal hits and guys getting hurt. But there are a lot of problems with the rule, and I'm expecting the NFL is pretty good with their rules. I feel like they're going to get something right where everybody can kind of get on the same page. College butchered it from the start to where it was regardless of if they took the if the player wasn't ejected, they still put the penalty on. But I'm with you.
No, the first year it was unreviewable. You're automatically ejected.
Was that the rule?
And then
I don't remember.
Yeah, the first year it was automatic ejection. No review. The next year you reviewed it, but the player could stay in the 15-yard penalty, and then they were like, okay, this is dumb.
Yeah.
I think it took 3 years.
But right. I really like your point, and I think I mentioned it to you. I think that's where you got the idea. The flagrant room, flagrant 2, I have no problem with it. I've seen more flagrant ones in football than anything. It's bang bang. Sometimes a helmet just accidentally hits somebody, and it shouldn't be an ejection. And I'm fine. I'm not fine with 15 yards. I'm fine with 5 yards or whatever. Just first down. I don't care, but.
I think they should handle it with the way they handle running into the kicker. There's running into the kicker, and then there's roughing the kicker.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I think that's the way it should be handled. But I think they're too reactive to the media saying things about concussions. But that you getting hit hard in the head once isn't the problem. It's all the plays built up on top of each other. And yes, it will these rules need to be in place to make it safer, but they don't need to go overboard because it takes away from the game, in my opinion.
I agree. So let's move on. This is one I thought it meant they were getting rid of it completely, but they're not. It's just not a temporary rule. It is a rule now. No, it is a temporary rule, but permanent touchback at 25-yard line for kickoffs. So they're trying to eliminate injuries on kickoffs. I think you were on our kickoff team in high school.
Fucking loved it.
That's a tough unit to play on. A lot of injuries, very fast paced. But I thought this meant they were getting rid of kickoffs completely, but they're not. I think it means if it's a touchback, it goes to the 25 instead of the 20. Try to get rid of some of the injuries. But the competition committee is considering eliminating the kickoff altogether. I'll be totally honest. I hate that if they end up doing it. What are your thoughts?
So I was listening to Mike and Mike the other day, and they were interviewing this guy.
Mike and Mike's no longer around, Taylor. It's Golick and Wingo.
Golick and Wingo.
Or as PFT says in Barstool, Trey Wingo is not the real guy. Like he always says, that's not my dad.
But there's a spring league. Or it's not the XFL, it's AWF.
Is it AA? I don't know.
I remember it because the acronym was awful, but they're not a league, so it's off. That's how I remember it. But they're not going to have kickoffs, and the way they're compensating is so if you elect to kick off, you get it on the 25-yard line. But if you want to do an onside kick, you're on your own 35, and you have to convert a 4th and 10. If you don't get it, the other team gets it on your 35.
You gotta put your offense out there and convert a 4th and 10.
Yeah,
I'd be all for that.
Yeah, see, now for the NFL, the offenses are so potent that I think you'd have to adjust it to where if there's pass interference, it's not converted. You replay it.
See, I feel like they need to change the onside kick rule as it is. Like, with the extra point, it's too easy. It's too easy for the onside kicks to not get one. Like, make it 5 yards. Make the kick go 5 yards instead of 10. Make this more fun.
Or I think 4th and 20. Because make it hard. 4th and 10's easy to convert for, like, the Saints, the Eagles, the Patriots. If I were them, I'd be going 4th and 10 all the time if that rule came in place. But if you do 4th and 20, yes, you can get it, but it's basically like a Hail Mary. I like that because the kickoff is dangerous, and I don't really care to watch it. It's touchback 90% of the time.
I hate it because I hate getting rid of it though, just because on the off chance it's not a touchback, you can take it to the house, and then you take it to the house, score a touchdown, it changes the game, changes the momentum, and I just hate seeing that leave the game.
Yeah, but it doesn't really happen anymore.
No, not necessarily touchdowns, but just a big return. Big returns get guys fired up. Sometimes that changes the momentum.
Yeah, but sometimes players get hurt and lose their season, and that ruins the season for whichever team where the player got hurt.
I guess they can make it to where they can add some other excitement, like you said, maybe with like converting a 4th and 20 on an onside kick, maybe to try to make up for some of that and get some momentum back for a team.
Or maybe you.
Or like what I said, a 3-point conversion.
I wouldn't. I go back and forth on the 3-point conversion.
I love 3-point conversion. That was fun in like intramural college flag football.
Yeah, it always gives you a chance, but then I kind of feel like we're turning into the XFL or arena football.
I just don't like 9-point games being a 2-possession game. I feel like that should be a 1-possession game. Now 10 points, yeah, that's a 2-possession game. It's two digits. I feel like that should be 2 possessions. Single digits though, that should be 1 possession.
I guess I wouldn't be that upset if you had a 3-point conversion.
But like you don't put it like on the 5, you put it like on the 15 or 20.
Yeah, but then so this is what I don't like about it is, let's say you're a run-heavy team, and you've been dominating the ball running for whatever reason. It kind of gives you a disadvantage. Like, can you imagine, like, that gives you more of a disadvantage. Breeze, Brady, and Rodgers throwing 15 yards is a lot different than Bortles throwing 15 yards. And I get it. Just, to me, it makes it more unfair. Because I tell you right now, Sean Payton would go for 3 every time.
We're getting kind of off topic. So another rule, permission for command center to eject players. So basically the senior VP of officiating, Al Riveron, can now order the ejection of a player who has been penalized for a non-football act such as punching or fighting. Referees retain the authority to eject as well, but there have been occasions where league officials wanted an ejection but had no opinion for overruling or assisting a referee with that decision. Riveron will now have the option to step in and demand an ejection via his wireless microphone connection with referees. I'm fine with that.
Oh, yeah. There's been several times where a punch was thrown and the on-field refs didn't see it, but you could see it in the replay. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with that. This one I love. No PATs at the end of regulation now. Teams will no longer be required to kick a meaningless extra point or kneel down after a score on the final play of regulation. So basically, I think this means if it's within like if you score a touchdown and kick an extra point to make it like a 3-point game, you have to do it because they can block it and return it for 2 points and tie the game up. This basically means, I think it's if it's a tie game and you score with no time on the clock.
Eagles situation in the Super Bowl.
Or the Vikings against the Saints in the playoffs, where they scored but they had to come back and do an extra point.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Other rules that were tabled, hiring head coaches who are in the playoffs. So basically, if an NFL team wants to hire a head coach and that coach is in the playoffs, they still have to wait until the end to formalize it. I get why they don't want it, but I really don't have any problem if they want to keep it or make it a rule where you can hire somebody while the coach is in the playoffs.
No, it's distractions.
I get it.
It takes away too from the team making that run. I don't have a problem. You can wait 5 weeks. Like, come on.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I don't have a problem with it either way. Let's put it that way. Video on sidelines. This one I'm still kind of boggled. So it says the NFL will continue to ban the use of video by coaches and players during games. They will continue to use still photographs instead, either printed or viewed on their Microsoft Surface tablets. But many coaches adamantly oppose the addition of all 22 video to the tablets. They believe video would make it easier for ill-prepared or lesser-skilled teams and coaches to make in-game adjustments. While not defeated, the rule is unlikely to be put to a vote before the 2018 season. Who cares?
Yeah, I don't care.
I don't either.
If you want a video,
did I read that right? They believe video would make it easier for ill-prepared or lesser-skilled teams and coaches to make in-game. Why?
Because you can look at it and be like, oh, they're running this over and over, and so you can have a whole staff replaying the video. If you can have pictures, why can't you have video? If you want to really...
The way it's worded, I think you're taking it as it's easier for the better coach teams to prepare for the lesser teams, correct? With video.
The way I'm viewing it, the way they're saying is the Browns, ill-prepared when they go into the game. With video, they're able to make in-game adjustments and make up for the fact that they were ill-prepared.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay. That makes more sense now.
That's the way I heard that.
I don't have a problem with that.
I just don't like the idea of
you're really that insecure. Like I doubt Bill Belichick voted against it, but if you're like Bill Belichick, are you really insecure that you're going to be outcoached by the Browns and Hugh Jackson because they have video tablets?
No, I don't think you should be able to use pictures or video. What, you're watching game film during the middle of the game?
No, I think you got to have photos. You got to see what the defensive tendencies are. Offensively, at least.
Just remember them.
You got it. Well, I guess you're right. They have guys in the press box.
Yeah, college gets fine without pictures.
Yeah, it's true. You're right. You've changed my mind on that rule. What's that?
I just don't. No pictures, no videos. It's simple.
I'm fine with that. You've convinced me now. I'm fine with that. So last rule that was actually withdrawn. We are both huge proponents of this being withdrawn. 15-yard penalty for pass interference. The rule withdrawn. We will stick with spot of the foul.
I like it.
Yes, I love it too. I was really worried they were going to make that the rule.
I wish they would kind of change it. Now, this would be, I don't know how it would be good implemented, or how well it would be implemented, is for the same thing, incidental contact, 5 or 10-yard penalty. If you're obviously holding him and interfering, spot foul. The problem I have is sometimes they throw up a jump ball and they throw a flag that may or may have not really should have been a flag, and the other team just got 40 yards.
Not really sure how you implement that.
15 yards every time.
I don't like 15 yards because that gives the defender a chance if he gets burnt. Oh, just tackle him. That way it's just 15 yards instead of 60. I hate that.
Yeah, I wish college would adopt the rule. Auburn did it to a T against Alabama, and I don't blame them.
If that's the rule, that's
passing ability when we played the deep.
If that's the rule, that should be the strategy. Yeah. Staying in the NFL getting away from the competition committee and rule changes. NFL offseason, free agency. Rumors are swirling that the Giants could be looking to trade wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. Taylor, we know this firsthand because William, who has been on the show, our friend, is a New York Giants fan, and I think, is a little worried. What do you think?
If the Giants trade him, they're trying to restart.
Yeah.
They're going to get rid of Eli.
I don't know about that. He's a free agent in 2 years. They'll ride him out, and then once he's a free agent, they'll let him walk.
Okay, but they'll begin the rebuilding process.
Right. No, I agree, though. I think the Giants really did a good job of fooling us for the first few months of the offseason. You know, Eli Manning still has 3 to 5 years left. We're not, really looking for the future. We're going to take the best player available at number 2. Had everyone fooled, maybe they are focusing on win now with Eli for another 2 or 3 years. But now that we're getting into the final month before the draft, now it's starting to, especially with the Jets moving up to the number 3 pick, unravel the Giants. That may not be the case.
Well, the other problem I have is, Adele's trying to restructure his contract. What better way to knock him down a few pegs? Going, okay, we'll trade you. Do you want to stay
I should
here?
also mention that this news comes roughly a week after a video surfaced of him in a bed with a woman and possibly marijuana and cocaine, although there is no way to prove either of those things. And I think there was a video, again, the video that I just mentioned was him. There's no doubt about that. There was another one, though, where he got in a fight in a bar, I believe, but no one is sure that was him or not. And also, NFL Network reported that OBJ wasn't going to show up for anything for any team until he had a new contract in place.
I have the Saints trade for him.
Why would he want that cancer?
Dude can catch.
He's a
And
cancer.
he'd be on a winning team. We have 2 years left with Breeze. I would love him on our team. Can you imagine?
Speaking of teams, though, the Rams are one of the teams that have been interested in him, reportedly offering the number 23 pick in the first round for him. Giants want 2 first-round picks, though. Do you think the Giants should trade him away?
Yeah, I think the Giants should get rid of their whole team.
The whole team?
Yeah, or not the whole team. Keep your good players, but get rid of Eli. Get rid of Odell. They're garbage right now, and they need to rebuild and be ready for when the Patriots fall apart.
Well, they're not even in the same division.
Are they not?
No, that's the Jets.
They're not on the same. No.
Giants are NFC. Jets are in the AFC East.
Why are they all right there? Whatever. No. Oh, then yeah, they're in the hard division. Yeah, they need to restart. They're not gonna. I don't care what you put around Eli. Eli can't get you there.
Well, he has gotten them there twice.
Right, not anymore though.
Oh.
It's you need a Denver Broncos type team to take him there, sort of like what his older brother did.
Yeah, I agree with that.
His arm, he's been beat up. They have a crappy line, and he is not like Brady, where Brady has not really been hit his whole career, and I think that's why Brady can last as long as he has. Eli's been hit left and right, and I think that's why he's falling apart.
Yeah, I will agree with that, and I agree with you. I think they should get rid of him. I just said I think he's a cancer. I don't care how good he is. I would not want him and his shenanigans in the locker room. Very talented player, though. I'm not going to deny that. If it was a 1 year, like a 1 year thing, like what the Rams I think are trying to do with him, and trade for him, I think it's worth a shot. But long term, I would not want him. And I think this goes with what I said earlier. I really think, and I want to make this an emphasis. I think the Giants are kind of starting to show their hand in that they might be looking for the future and looking to rebuild.
Yeah, and I don't think it's with Eli.
And I don't think so either. I think I've heard on NFL Network that the Jets offered to move up to the number 2 pick with the Giants, and they said no. Now, granted, that's a division rival, maybe not a division rival. That's a in-city rival right down the hall, same stadium. Maybe they didn't want to trade with them. That's a possibility, but I also think it's a possibility that if you're not win now mentality, why wouldn't you just take it and take those 3 second-round picks and a second-round pick next year and try to develop that?
Right. Maybe it's a quarterback-heavy draft, but they all aren't good. There's, to me, 2 quarterbacks that will last in this draft. I don't know which ones they would be. I think it's a toss-up, but there's going to be a team that strongly feels that that's their quarterback, that they need to go get him. And that's the only reason to me you ever use a top 5 pick. I don't understand using top 5 picks for anything outside of quarterback.
But I would agree with that. I'm fine with trading back in the first round if you feel like.
And if you're win now mentality, then yeah, they need the pick. But if you're thinking about trading it, they're not in a win now mentality.
And I really don't think they are. I said it at the beginning of the offseason. I thought quarterback. They're going to look to the future, and then I kind of got away from it. I'm like, well, maybe they are going to take Saquon Barkley at number 2. But now now that they traded for Alec Ogletree, they're trying to get a quarterback for the defense. They traded away Jason Pierre-Paul. Landon Collins is about to be a free agent here in, I think, next year. They are cap strapped right now with Eli, so maybe they let him walk and then they sign Collins to a long-term deal, but I don't think Odell Beckham Jr. stays there. I think they will look to the future. But other NFL offseason headlines the last week or so, like I said, the Giants just traded away defensive end Jason Pierre-Paul and a fourth-round pick to the Buccaneers for a third and fourth-round pick. The Rams signed Ndamukong Suh to a one-year deal. Eagles announced Nick Foles isn't going anywhere. The team will not trade him. Dolphins sign running back Frank Gore. Jets sign wide receiver Terrell Pryor. Eagles signed wide receiver Mike Wallace. Cowboys signed wide receiver Allen Hurns. Seahawks signed offensive guard DJ Fluker. Packers signed corner Tramon Williams. And today, Redskins trade safety Sua Cravens to the Broncos. And the Browns trade quarterback Cody Kessler to the Jaguars. I think that cements the Browns are taking a quarterback at number 1. They just traded away Kaiser and Kessler. They're taking a quarterback.
Yeah, and it'll be the wrong pick again.
I don't know. They got a good front office now.
They do. They're doing a lot better. But I'll believe it when I see it when they pick. It's like the Jets with their quarterback.
I'm really hoping. I'm not that I'm rooting for them, but I am rooting for Cleveland. That franchise has suffered enough. I'm hoping they get their guy, and I'm kind of hoping the Jets get their guy. I'm tired of making Jets jokes.
Well, I
get their guy.
want to see the Browns win a game.
I want to see the Browns in the playoffs and be like a playoff contending team every year. I think that'd be awesome.
They've made the moves to do it though this offseason. I think I wouldn't be shocked if they make the playoffs this year.
No, I would.
I don't know, dude. You can turn it around really quickly.
I meant to ask you, how do you feel about the Saints missing out on Sue?
I don't care. Sue sucks.
He doesn't suck, but I agree with you. I would not want him on my team.
The last thing the Saints need is like another bounty gate situation with their defense, and Sue would help with that. So, no, I don't think he sucks, but he's not lived up to what you thought he would be.
He did in Detroit.
He didn't perform that well at Miami for the contract.
No, Miami, yeah. I would agree with that, but Detroit he did.
No, yeah, that's why he got the contract at Miami. And he's at the end of his career to me. You know, D-line don't last that long, so
he's got to be up in the late 20s, early 30s range. 1-year deal. I get why they want to sign him, have him and Donald on the interior. And now that everybody, and Brockers for that matter, and now everyone's saying that's a great D-line. They don't have an edge rusher. They traded away Robert Quinn. So they got to find one.
They'll get one in the actually, is there a lot of DNs in this draft?
In the first round, outside of that, not really.
Yeah.
So I really think they're playing with fire. But Sue, I know James told me the Packers should get him. I was like, I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole, and neither will Green Bay. After the way he treated Aaron Rodgers.
No, I just don't like a guy that steps on people to be on my team.
I don't either. So moving on, NBA. I don't know how much NBA you know. Some key injuries. Steph Curry sprained his MCL to be evaluated in 3 weeks. And unfortunately, my guy, Kyrie Irving, for the Celtics, has a knee injury, expected to miss 3 to 6 weeks. So I got a poll question for you. Are the Golden State Warriors still the favorites to win the NBA Finals without Steph Curry, if he can't go in the playoffs?
Yes.
Really?
They're like women's UConn basketball to me. I'm going to keep picking them until they stop winning.
Even with the point guard's the most important position, though.
Right, but look who else they still have.
I feel like you got to have a point guard.
I think they'll be fine. And looking at who else is on their side of the division, the Rockets are the only team
and they have a point guard.
Them, and that's contingent on James Harden making everything. They have one play, and it's high screen. James Harden shoots the 3. That's their play.
Chris Paul gets it to him.
So I still pick Golden State. Now, if they lose, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not saying I'm 100% certain. It's a little more iffy without Steph Curry, but I still think they win.
I don't know. I might say no, but I'll say yes for now. NHL. I know you don't know a ton about this, Taylor, so I'm just gonna take over. Playoff race with about 5 to 8 games remaining in the regular season. Predators, Lightning, Bruins, Golden Knights, and Jets have already clinched playoff spots. And then a tight race in the wild cards. In the East, the Flyers, Devils, and Panthers are all in the hunt within 4 points of each other. In the West, the Blues, Ducks, Avalanche, and Stars are in the hunt and within 5 points of each other. So it's going to be a tight race. So getting away from sports now. Taylor, what is going on? Have you watched any TV shows lately?
Yeah, I watched Marvel's Runaways, and the storyline was good. It's on Hulu. It's one of their Hulu originals. Storyline was good. The acting sucks, and I feel like either for the Marvel shows, you either get a really good one like The Punisher or Daredevil, or you get crappy ones like Iron Fist on Netflix. I don't know if you watched that, but that was atrocious.
No, I've really just stuck. I've let Marvel do their thing with the movies, and I go to watch them for the most part. TV shows, I don't watch them.
Well, that's what sucks is their movies are amazing.
Well, that's probably because they got they're sinking in all their money into the movies because that's what makes more money.
Well, yeah, but you can still make a lot of money off of the TV shows, and
they probably don't have the better superheroes to do a TV show. They've already got Iron Man, Captain America, all those other superheroes for the movies.
Well, you got the secondary characters, Daredevil, the Punisher.
I didn't even know the Punisher was a comic book.
Shield. But to me, the storyline's there. Like, the story is good. The acting is atrocious. I've seen better acting in pornos, so it's terrible.
I honestly couldn't tell you the last time. No, I can. I was going to say I couldn't tell you the last time I watched a bad TV show, and I did. It was last year. I watched that. What is it called? It's on Netflix. Friends from College. Have you ever seen that?
Oh, that's terrible.
Oh, that was terrible. That was so bad. Like, the first couple episodes were okay, and I'm like, okay, I'll keep watching. Then
I can't get past the first one.
Oh, my God, it was so bad. Oh, my God. But no, I really don't watch any new shows. I mostly just rewatch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Bob's Burgers. You don't like Bob's Burgers?
No. More of a Family Guy kind of guy.
Family Guy. What else? I did watch Community for the first time. I haven't finished it, but and New Girl.
I've heard it's good.
Community's good.
Community's good. New Girl's awesome.
You told me to watch. You and William, I think, told me to watch that.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite shows. It's Parks and Rec.
Dude, come on. The Office is better than Parks and Rec.
I can't stand like super awkward shows. It makes me cringe, and so that's all of The Office.
That's the point, though.
Yeah, but I can't watch it. So
you can't watch it.
No, I physically can't look at the TV because it's so awkward. Like, I can't handle it.
Any other TV shows? Westworld comes back in a month.
Frankenstein Chronicles on Netflix. I'm like 2 shows into that. Pretty good so far.
Westworld next month.
I'm excited.
Yeah, that's a good show.
It's hard to beat the first one, so I'll be interested to see. But
what's that?
It's hard to beat the first season. Yeah. But it'll be
Do you
good.
watch Silicon Valley? I know that's one of the popular shows in our group text.
I watched the first couple of episodes. Couldn't get into it.
It's all right. It's kind of like The Big Bang Theory, but on HBO.
Yeah, it took me a while to get like The Big Bang Theory. So sure, Silicon Valley is the same way.
Silicon Valley's good. I haven't watched the new episode. I can't imagine it'll be as good without T.J. Miller.
That means nothing to me.
He's one of the actors, and he makes the show. Anything else going on with you in the world of pop culture?
Not really. I'm really not that up to date.
That's right. You're in grad school. I forgot.
Yeah, I watch movies and reruns of New Girl. That's basically what I stick to.
All right, so now we're going to move on to a new segment. It's called Hot or Not, and I wanted this to be with Taylor because he's actually the one that gave me this idea. So I wanted the first time we did this segment to be with him. Basically, I'm going to give him a list of celebrities, essentially, and he will determine whether or not they are hot or not. Today's category is athletes, and also because of Title IX, it will be male and female. So we have to keep it equal. All right, so Taylor, the first athlete. This is a girl that I really, really liked in the Olympics, Tessa Virtue.
Huh, let me look her up, because...
Canadian figure skater. Really grew on me.
Give me a second. I mean, yeah, but she's like half naked, so like you can't.
I'm sorry. What?
It's like the thing. Every girl's hot on a boat from far away. Every girl's hot in tight clothing when they're athletic. It's just that's what happens. So I'm looking at some of these pictures. No, she's like above average, but not like.
Well, I'm not saying. I just grew to really like her.
Yeah, she seems nice.
Oh yeah,
but
she
yeah,
looks
I think
nice.
she's attractive, but not on my top. You know, I gave her an 8, not like a 10.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like a 5 or a 6.
No. She's attractive.
Okay. All right.
But, like we're playing hot or not, and I'm not. My hot is hot. You know, I gotta judge fans.
I feel like we have the same thing. My mom always says, like, your future wife doesn't have to be pretty, and I'm always.
Oh,
like,
that's the dumbest thing.
I know. But she says you can have like somebody like Pam from The Office. I'm like, Pam's hot.
Well, for a 40-year-old, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
All right.
But no, you have to be attracted. I always hate that
duh.
when people are like, looks aren't everything. Well, they're a lot.
Yeah.
They matter.
So some of the men on here are I think all of them actually are from our favorite teams. The first one though is Colin Sexton. Is he hot or not?
Well, so it's his hair.
Yeah.
I actually saw him on campus today, so this is actually really funny to me. No, I don't know. Maybe.
Just so everyone knows, we are not gay.
Not in like the traditional sense. But maybe,
Taylor and myself are very straight. We like women, but we are not afraid to say when a man is attractive, right, Taylor?
Yeah. No, I think he's average. But it's also hard to tell. You only got basketball pictures of him.
That's
true.
It's
like, he's not looking his best when you're all out there, doing whatever. I give him a 5. It's the hair.
Ronda Rousey.
Oh yeah.
No, No, I don't think so. I think she's weird.
I think it's hot that she could kill me.
No, I don't see it.
No, I think she's hot.
Will Greer.
Oh, I've seen him. Yeah, he's gorgeous. He's West Virginia's quarterback.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. With his full beard and stuff, yeah, he looks more like a pirate. But when he's clean shaven and his hair's cut, whoo.
He just cut his hair. It's still pretty long, but it's not down to his shoulders anymore, which I hate.
Like when he has a little bit of scruff, he's good. It's when he looks like a pirate that
I said he looked like Jon Snow from Game of Thrones.
No, when it's fully out, he looks like he is in like a gang on the west side of California.
I'm just depressed he cut it. I saw something, it was last year. Somebody said Will Greer is like the definition of the quarterback you picture as a kid. He's got the hair, he's got the arm, he's got the girlfriend, he's got the playing ability. He's perfect all the way around.
Yes, I think he's hot. So
Serena Williams.
No.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't think so.
Nah. Mm-mm.
Kobe Fleener.
Kobe Fleener. Oh yeah, he's our tight end. No. Oh no. Oh god, no. In a uniform, he looks great because you can't see his face.
Danica Patrick.
Oh my gosh, he looks like a skinhead when he takes his helmet off.
Yeah. I couldn't say Drew Brees. I thought you would say Drew Brees. Of course he's hot.
Yeah. but he looks like a dad. He's a good-looking dad.
He looks like he should have a minivan.
To me, he's that you're like, if he was your dad, he's like all your friends like in middle school be like, oh my God, your dad, he's so hot. That, but not like when you're in college, you're like, I'd only do you because you're the quarterback of the Saints.
That's true. But that's the girl voice you're going to go with?
Well, this is my gay voice. And then the girl voice because you're in middle school.
Danica Patrick.
I'm going to add this one. I don't think Tom Brady's attractive at all. I'm throwing that out there. I don't think he's good looking. I don't think he's a good looking man.
Wow. That is shocking.
I know that's a hot take.
That is a hot take.
I don't think he's attractive at all. Like, to me, he doesn't look like a quarterback. To me, he looks like a...
It's not about if he looks like a quarterback.
Doesn't look like... But he doesn't have... To me, he looks like a malnourished supermodel. Doesn't do it for me.
Doesn't do it for me. All right.
I don't think he's a good-looking guy. He's not ugly. Just don't think he's hot.
Oh, okay. If you think he's not ugly, that's fine.
Yeah, he's not ugly. I just don't think he's as hot as everyone thinks he is.
Who's more attractive, him or Jimmy Garoppolo?
I gotta look up Garoppolo. I see all these people. I only see them with their helmets on. Yeah, give me a second. Golly, I butchered Garoppolo's. Oh, Garoppolo for sure. Oh yeah, hands down. That's not even close. I don't even know why you asked me that question. That dude looks like he was constructed in a video game. That guy is attractive. Holy shit.
Back to women, Danica Patrick.
No, I've never thought.
Yeah, I don't see it either. I can't believe.
To me, we have this term in engineering. It's called engineering hot. She's hot because she's the only girl in NASCAR. So you have nothing to compare her to. You see guys all day. Of course she's going to be hot when you see a girl. It's just by default. So, it's NASCAR hot. So, yeah, engineering hot.
I'm fine with that.
Hot for an engineer.
What's that? Oh, she's hot for
engineering hot. She's hot for an engineer. Yeah.
I would agree. I can't believe that my guy, Aaron Rodgers, dumped Olivia Munn and is now with her. I
think he's gay.
You think he's gay?
I think he's gay.
Come on, this is 2 girlfriends back to back.
You can have girlfriends and be gay. It's not the first time.
Yeah, but it's not like they're nobodies or celebrities.
That makes me think he's gay even more.
No, because if he's really gay, that really hurts their reputation. You dated a gay man.
Because you can fake it. Or he could be bi. I think he's gay. I really do. I don't think he'll ever come out, which is kind of sad. That the football locker room would fall apart because of that kind of crap. But I do. I think he's gay.
He's not gay. And if he was, I would still love him.
Oh, yeah. No, I think it doesn't change the way he plays on the field.
Yeah. So now we are going to recap last week's poll questions. Number 1, which was the most surprising upset of the first weekend of the 2018 NCAA tournament? No surprise. 88% of the vote said UMBC over Virginia. And number 2, a little bit surprising, Syracuse over Michigan State had 12%, so that's kind of interesting.
It was the second biggest one.
I would agree with that.
Because Syracuse didn't belong in the tournament. You can say they're an 11 seed all you want. To me, they're a 15 seed.
That's true. Poll question number 2. Will Kirk Cousins win a Super Bowl with the Vikings? I was actually really surprised with this. 86% said no. I thought for sure people would say yes.
No. To me, he's like Case Keenum.
Now, we've said this on the show. Case Keenum last year, that was like the absolute highest his ceiling could be, and that's like Kirk Cousins on a good day. Not on a good day, but like on an above average day.
Case Keenum last year is all you'll ever get out of Kirk Cousins, which isn't bad. But with the Eagles there, and now the Saints kicking it in, and then I don't know who else is.
He's not even the best quarterback in his division.
No, I don't think it will happen. I think the Eagles win it again. to be honest.
I don't know about that. I don't like picking defending champions. I got that on the brain. Poll question number 3. After acquiring Jarvis Landry, Demarius Randall, and Tyrod Taylor, how much better are the Cleveland Browns right now? A lot of activity on this, but we had 47% for both answers. 47% said significantly, and then also said a little, and then 6% said not much. What do you think about that?
A little. If you don't have a quarterback throwing to him, it means nothing.
Yeah, I think I said a little.
With a quarterback that can throw, yeah.
But Tyrod Taylor's sufficient. He makes them a little bit better.
Receiver's only as good as his quarterback.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm saying they got Tyrod Taylor now. He makes them a little bit better. That's what they are now. They're a little bit better. They're still very bad.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, they're going to be twice as good as they were last year, so that's probably a lot better. I think they're going to win 2 games.
I think they can get to 4, depending on their draft.
Yeah, well, that's 4 times as good as last year, right? They only won 1 game.
And I think James said, if you say 4 times about any other team, like Green Bay, would you consider if they won 4 more games and got to 11 wins, is that significantly better? And I was probably like, yeah, that looks better. He's like, it's just the fact they were winless. You go from 0 to 4. That's still a very bad. Like, it doesn't look good.
Yeah, but they've 2 seasons in a row of not winning. Like, getting to 4 games and winning those when you haven't won in 2 years, that's significant.
Yeah. But rounding it out, poll question number 4. After moving up in the draft order and acquiring the number 12 pick, do you expect Buffalo to trade up into the top 10 and draft one of the quarterbacks? 75% said yes. That's not surprising. I fully expect it to happen before the draft rolls around. Maybe not before, but during the draft. They'll jump up to the number 2 or 4 pick, I think.
I don't understand why they didn't make a move for Kirk Cousins. Because to me,
cap room. They didn't have the cap room. Minnesota did.
Yeah, they have the team to win now. They're a good defensive team. You just need an offense to help them.
I'm saying they didn't have the cap room to give them an $84 million fully guaranteed deal.
Yeah, but you're telling me out of all the quarterbacks, like you're gonna go and get a rookie to lead you? They're in the position to win now if they get a good quarterback. That's my opinion.
They could trade up. They might have a gem on their hands. Who knows? I like this quarterback class a lot more than you do.
I hate this quarterback class. I think they're all over it.
Moving on. Poll question number 5. Which recent MLB free agent acquisition will make the biggest impact? 60% said Jake Arrieta. I feel like that's being generous. 40% said Neil Walker. And then 0% for Mike Moustakas or Jonathan Lucroy. I don't know if you have anything to add for that, Taylor. I don't think you follow baseball that closely.
I don't know any of those people.
All right, then we're moving on. So, final thoughts. Taylor, you got anything to say? Anything you want to rant about?
No,
how tough is school going?
I thought we covered everything pretty well.
I feel like we did too. We did it in hour 18, and we talked a little bit before that. That's not bad. I thought given us we'd be closer in like the hour 45 range.
Yeah, it's hard to do it in the off season though. There's not that big of headlines going on right now. We're grasping at straws with the NFL. The owners fighting at each other.
Yeah.
Kind of like that with the kneeling rule.
We don't talk about that.
No, I know. That's what they're fighting, and I kind of like it. But there's not much else going on. No one likes baseball. So
I like baseball. I don't love it, but I like it.
I don't like it. I like college baseball and college softball. Alabama's doing pretty well. Alabama won wheelchair basketball, so don't call us.
I remember when we did wheelchair basketball. No. We did wheelchair
football.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
That shit's hard.
That shit was hard.
And they were scary. And they flew at us like that, nothing to lose. Oh my God, that was.
Oh, that was embarrassing. Did we even score? I don't think we scored.
Well, yeah. No, we didn't. They had the advantage. I couldn't turn.
I remember that. That was so embarrassing. But final thoughts. I said it a little bit ago. I meant to put it in here, but the AP All-American team came out for college basketball. And I didn't expect my guy, WVU's own Javon Carter, to be first team. He got second team, which is still a huge accomplishment. And I looked at the first team, and the other guards were Jalen Brunson from Villanova. I had no problem with it. He's a damn good player. The other was Devontae Graham from Kansas. Whatever, he's a good player too. But the third, Trae Young. Oh my God. I am so sick of Trae Young. Javon Carter faced him twice, and yeah, Trae Young put up 20-some points in each game, but he bested him twice. And I honestly do get why they put Trae Young at first-team All-American. He was averaged 27 points a game, 10 assists, whatever. But my God, the dude he shot 40 times a game. It's no wonder he scored 27 points per game. But no, Javon Carter, my guy, should have been first-team All-American.
I don't think Trae Young deserved to be first-team All-American. He played horrible when he came to Alabama. We kept him below 20 points. Everyone knows the AP poll is just a giant circle jerk, and if they have it in their mind that this player is going to be the best thing since sliced bread at the beginning of the year, they're going to put him in first-team All-American.
Yeah, and like I said, I get it. He averaged 27 points, 10 assists. You put that on any other player in the country without saying that this person was Trae Young, went in blind and said this person averaged 27 points, 10 assists, everybody's going to be like, oh, yeah, he's obviously a first-team All-American. So I get it, but no.
But you got to look at the rest of this team. To me, it's like OKC with what's his name?
Russell Westbrook.
A triple-double. Westbrook. It's like Westbrook. No one else is on his team.
Yeah, he has more there than what you think, Taylor.
No, right after went to the
Durant left. He still had a pretty decent team.
Yeah, but Westbrook doesn't like to pass the ball.
So, but I'm with you. He averaged a triple-double. In my opinion, he should have been MVP for that. But, so yeah, it's kind of...
Yeah, but if you're the only guy on your team, yes, you're going to make all the shots. You're going to get way more shots than a normal person. You have to adjust for that. And I think Trae Young was the only player on his team.
I don't know. I get it. I just think my guy, Javon Carter, should have been ahead of him, but who knows?
I just got tired of them talking about Trae Young. When I watched them play Alabama, they had his stat line on the bottom. We have Colin Sexton, a top 10 pick next year. You don't have his stat line on the bottom.
Oh, and I'd rather take Colin Sexton before Trae Young in the draft.
Oh, yeah, Colin Sexton's awesome. But we kept Trae Young. It was actually really awesome having Trae Young be below 20 points and seeing that stat line. Like, it wasn't impressive stats at all, and they kept his stat line up there. But, come on.
I was just thinking that ESPN would always say, despite his 29 points, Oklahoma fell. I was like, alternate headline, he had 10 turnovers and lost to Kansas State at home. But that's me. Or
they don't even have LeBron's stat line when he plays in the bottom of the screen. And, they have to mandatory talk about him every day. So I don't understand the obsession with Trae Young. I don't get it. He's a good basketball player, don't get me wrong, but, I don't get it.
But those are my final thoughts. That's my rant. I don't have anything else to talk about. Taylor, you got anything you want to mention?
Nope, I enjoyed it.
Yep. So, yes, thank you for coming on. I wanted to get this to happen. You're obviously, like I said, one of my closest friends. I'm likely going to be a groomsman in your wedding. You're going to be a groomsman in my wedding. We were groomsmen in one of our other friends' weddings just a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Really wanted you to come on. So glad you finally were able to. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I gave you enough speaking time.
I had a great time.
Awesome. All right. So thank you again. Everybody, we will be, I will definitely be back next week. Taylor, I doubt will be. But we will for sure try to have you on again before the draft, talk about some draft guys. As an Alabama fan, a lot of guys from Alabama are going to be drafted in a few weeks. We'll have you on, talk about which ones you think are, going to be the most successful at the next level. And I know you follow the draft pretty closely, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so we should have you on for that. But I don't know about James. Like I said, he's going through a little bit of a rough time right now. He, as far as I know, will not be back next week. He said he'd let me know when he would be available again. But next week we will be back. Taylor, thank you once again for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Shane.
Yep.